It's Majo John Madden in Asheville, North Carolina. It's about 3 in the afternoon on Veterans Day. And this is my Veterans Post. I've never served in the military. I could easily have gone to Vietnam. I passed my physical. The college deferments had gone away and I got a low number in the lottery. Went to the physical, but brought to the physical a letter from my doctor, which I had not requested, but Dr. DeMange, who had been our family doctor forever, said, "You're in pre-med. I want you to make it to medical school. We need to not have you go off to that war." So he wrote a letter saying that my asthma was disqualifying. Kind of sleazy, because a year later when I was applying to medical schools and they wanted to know why I had that 1Y rating, he wrote, well, asthma had been a thing when he was a kid, but no more. So it was Trumpian. It was honestly Trumpian. I was very severely against the war. I had gotten politicized at Loyola in Chicago, joined the SDS chapter there, Students for Democratic Society, and made them crazy by alternating between them and my fraternity table and vice versa. And sat in outside of the ROTC building and have been an activist ever since. My alternate service, I'd like to say, although it's a little lame, was 4 years at the toughest VA in the Chicago system, Westside VA, where black vets tried to go to the 3 other hospitals because they viewed it as too dangerous. And I worked in a day hospital program where guys would come for a month or sometimes 2 every day. And they had so many problems, almost all dual diagnosis, psych diagnosis and substance abuse, and poverty and dangerous neighborhoods and racism. I rewrote my job description and said I hang out and tell the truth. Because the idea that we were going to rehab these guys or make big changes in their lives was kind of laughable. And I earned their respect. I'm naturally a straight talker and was with them. When my boss, Jamaican black psychiatrist Myrtle Mason, gave me a green carnation for St. Pat's Day in Chicago as the honorary Irishman on the staff, Frank, one of my patients, black guy, said, "You're not Irish. No, Irish are racist." Hell of a compliment. I know that I inhaled the racism of my youth, and I will never claim to be anything but a recovering racist. But while I was working at the VA, I continued my anti-nuclear activism at that point. And there were at protests, the thing they would do is they would have some of the protesters put on a cone head to represent the cruise missiles that were shuttling around through Europe wherever we wanted them to be. And we'd run around in the demonstration. I appeared on the front page of the Chicago Tribune. I had called in sick to work, and the next day, some of my colleagues affectionately called me Dr. Conehead. I did get injured there, not by a black vet. We had mostly black vets, but it was a white Vietnam PTSD who was going off, and I startled him. They knew that I would be the person who could talk him down, but I came around the corner too fast. And he picked me up and threw me. I got 9 stitches in the forehead, which did traumatize me, because before then I always felt invulnerable, like nobody's really going to hurt me. I knew now that they could. So I've just been listening on National Public Radio to the story of a vet and his PTSD from Afghanistan. These days, I was one of the radicals who did not welcome those guys home, did not give them a hero's welcome at all. But in my later years, I never missed a chance to say thank you for serving. I'm staying at the Salvation Army shelter here in Asheville. And there's one black guy there I've had run-ins with because he's always yelling about the kids. He hates young people. And I love young people. And I told him off one day. Well, this morning when I heard him saying to a friend of his about his tour in Vietnam, there was hardly anybody left in the cafeteria, and I paused, and he doesn't want to talk to me anymore. But I said, "Thank you for serving." And he appreciated it. He said, "Thanks." In Mexico, I got to know a man named Miguel, who was a hopeless alcoholic out in front of the convenience store where I hung out every day using their Wi-Fi to load my YouTube. He would alternate in stages of alcoholism from being just mostly coherent to being flat out unconscious. But everybody liked him. Everybody took turns stopping and they would visit with him and talk with him. And when I asked the people at the convenience store if they would mind if I gave them some money, they said, no, we like Miguel. I learned not to give him money because he would get alcohol, and I'd buy him drinks and food. And one day I got him talking in Spanish about what happened to him. He had been in the U.S. and he signed up for the military, ended up in Special Forces, and was forced to do things that he could not forget. And like so many vets, he came out with no help with his PTSD. And he was just drinking to anesthetize himself. I knew the story was true. He was an honest guy, and we liked each other a lot. He was gone for a while, and I worried. I asked. Nobody knew what had happened to him. I thought maybe something terrible had happened to him. And right before I left that town, I encountered a very sharp-looking young Latino guy with a pretty girlfriend. And he said, "You don't remember me, do you?" "No, who are you?" "I'm Miguel." "John, I'm Miguel." "No, you're not." "No, how could you be? What? He never explained how he managed to clean himself up, but he was great. He looked wonderful. He sounded wonderful. Would it last? Who knows? Never heard of his religion. Did he find Jesus or just a good rehab program? But what it said to me is healing is always possible. Always possible. And I always want to do anything I can to help. Yeah. Thank you for serving, guys. And to you guys who didn't come back, who are largely black and Latino, especially black, sorry I wasn't by your side.